Hello everyone and welcome to a week 3 recap of the North American LCS. So this was a big week for kind of the solidifying of most teams into where they think that they should be and what the standings have looked like throughout the season. So at the beginning, we got Echo Fox. They went 1-1 this weekend. They took a weird loss to CLG where CLG actually looked really good, and they took their risky late game team fight that they usually do, but they lost it this time and then just bit them in the butt and they lost. So that was their one loss. Their other loss was to Optic Gaming. Pretty easy win there. Optic Gaming wasn't able to bring them to the late game as they usually do to teams, so that looked good from Echo Fox. But we have been seeing Echo Fox lose early games more and more as these weeks go on, so we should see if that results in more losses or just more kind of lucky late game team fights that they've been bringing in. Next, we got Cloud9. They went 2-0, so they had two easy wins against Optic and Clutch Gaming. We expected them to win against those teams, and that's pretty much what happened. Licorice is looking very good as usual, so is Svenskeren. I think he went deathless this whole weekend, or deathless in one game. I know he had a good weekend, or at least one really good game. I don't exactly remember. And then we got Sneaky and Smoothie, who are also looking great in the bot lane. They seem to be very cohesive, especially around the Baron pit, and they just know what they need to do to get the job done. And next we got Team Liquid. They went 2-0 this weekend. Their Golden Guardians and Flyquest opponents were very easy. They seem to just be killing it in very quick games, so we don't know how their late game is looking, like their late game decision making and things like that in their team fighting, just because they're finishing their games. I think they've broken their own record about 3 times now for fastest game in LCS this season. So we should see how that goes into the later season. If teams figure out how to bring them to the late game, then we should see at least their team fighting and see their decision making to see how it goes from there. They are picking mostly late game team compositions, so it's not just that they're picking early team comps and that they'll fall off. They're just playing very well that they're winning that early. Moving on to 100 Thieves. So they went 1-1 this weekend. Their first game was against Clutch Gaming, just a pretty easy win there. And then their second game on Sunday was against Team Solo Mid. They were just methodically beat. It didn't look like too great of shot calling was happening from Aphromoo. And yeah, it looks like Aphromoo likes those kind of slow working games, and TSM almost beat them in 30 minutes, and then they just won with like a last stand Nexus play where both Nexus turrets were down. Some days looking worse and worse throughout each season that goes on, or each split, I should say. Some days looking a little more worse and worse. He doesn't look very cohesive with his team, so that's a little worrying for 100 Thieves fans. However, Ryu and Meteos are still looking pretty good for what we expected of them from the beginning of the season. Next, we got TSM. They had a perfect game against Golden Guardians. On Saturday, I think it was 8 kills to 0 or 11 kills to 0, something like that. Mike Young had a very impactful game, so that's nice to see from the pretty new jungler. He's only in his second split, so that is nice to see for TSM fans. And then they almost beat, like I said, 100 Thieves in around 30 minutes, but then they lost that team fight, and it took them like 6 or 7 more minutes to finally win. But it was a very strong weekend for TSM, and just like their coach Song said, after the first week, they started practice late, so I think this will mark like a month now that they've been practicing together, so they're starting to come together and know their jobs within the team, and they're just looking a lot better. So looking forward to their next week's games against Clutch Gaming, not that one, the CLG game next Sunday. That should be a very big game for these two teams who went 2-0 this weekend. So like I said, CLG also went 2-0. They had a big win against Echo Fox where they played a very good early game with rain over on Nunu. And yeah, then they just played a very good team fight. Stixxay is looking a lot more confident as well as Huhi's Zillion looking a lot better in general. Last weekend it didn't look very great. If you have a Zillion that's not working with a good cohesive team, it's not going to work. So yeah, Huhi just looked a lot better with a better Stixxay and a better team around him in general. And with Darshan killing Huni, I think twice in the top lane, that was pretty big just for motivation on the team and some momentum going through the game as well, because Echo Fox can be a scary team to go up against. Next, we got Clutch Gaming. Lyra is still looking extremely rough. They went 0-2 this weekend. Well, Lyra's looking more and more rough as the weeks go on. Yeah, that's about it for Lyra. He's just getting caught out. He's going in for team fights, like he played a Gragas game and he just like body slammed in, and then he just died before his team was even able to catch up with him. So that's probably a little frustrating for fans as well as.
I've been flying from town to town, from London to Taiwan. I've been all around the globe trying to protect your soul.